out here with Solomon in his beautiful apartment, shooting for Poison Ivy Management. Look at the great view. It's wonderful out here. I'm Lucas, otherwise known as Far-Fetched Future. Some people call me Mr. Far-Fetched. And I'm out here today to talk to you about photography and the whole graphic design life. Photography is actually kind of new to me. Well, I picked up the camera back in high school for a class. I took a photo class in the 9th grade. But I didn't really, I thought it was fun and interesting at the time, but I think I was too much of a young buck to actually appreciate what it was all about. And then when I was wrapping up to come to college, I popped the camera that I had bought for that class in my bag, and thought it'd be a cool thing to just have up at school in case, for whatever reason I get bored, I want to do something. And that's basically what happened. In the middle of winter, my freshman year, that was actually right as winter was wrapping up and the buds were coming out and all the birds were singing and whatnot. I decided to go out and just snap a few shots, just reacquaint myself with the camera and that whole medium. And I was addicted. Immediately, as soon as I printed out my first contact sheet, all I wanted to do was take more photos, and it was endless. They actually knew me. There was one CVS. I went to Dartmouth back for my freshman year in New Hampshire, and so there was one CVS in the entire town of Hanover, and it was the only spot that could develop film. So they became very, very familiar with me. I would bike over there in the middle of the night wanting to pick up my contact sheets and wanting to go through all the pictures so I could have them up the next day, just to show everyone what I was up to and get a sense of where I was going with it. So I started off on like a very different aspect of photography than where I am now, which is more of music related and I guess you could call it urban photography. Back then, just by the limitations of where I was, it was more nature focused. And this is a rural scene, so it's a little different. But I've always liked taking portraits and talking to people and getting to know their stories and capturing that in the photos. Of course, the greats like Leibowitz, Stieglitz, and Weston have been huge influences, but on a newer level, Clinch is a huge one, Mannion, both excellent music photographers, and it's all around photographers. And then that's solely along the photo line. As far as other influences, Outkast is actually a huge one. I love Outkast. if someday out there, Andre, if I get a chance, can I please do a shoot with you, please? I would love to get the chance to sit down and chop it up with Outkast. They're one of my favorite groups of all time, and have basically raised me in a way. Some crazy stories. I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head. Well, just the way the whole game works is kind of crazy. Like sometimes I'll wake up at 9 a.m. and I'll see my phone and I'll look at the text message and it'll be like, come down to this address, bring all your equipment, tell no one. And I'm like, oh no, I'm about to get robbed. But you go down and you just figure it out and see who's there, and you just acquaint yourself with the whole scene and how it's going down and try and make the best of it. Every day is kind of a new experience and a new way to bridge out and try something and meet someone new, which is wonderful. That's honestly my favorite part of it, is just being able to meet a whole bunch of new people and really, sit down and get familiar with them. And then, of course, my mother keeps me going. She's the one that, whenever I show her something that I'm really proud of, she's can instantly turn it on me and say that I should reach for 10 times farther. So she's a huge influence in my life. I guess the biggest shout out right now would be to Nick Harwood. He kind of put me on to where I'm at now as far as respect goes, and but there's so many shout outs to give. Like honestly, I don't even really want to go through the whole names because there's too many of you guys that have really helped me get here. I love all of you, really, like I really do, and I appreciate everything you've done, whether it's been something small as like a quick conversation that like got me thinking about something I've never had before. Like I've been hit with one-liners that just like, whoa. And then, or if it's a long-term relationship that I've been involving with you since, kindergarten. Whatever it is, man, I really do appreciate everything that's come my way. And I want to be able to pay it all back. That's really the goal, is to inspire you as much as you've inspired me. So that's my biggest shout out.